The first case of COVID-19 in Malaysia was detected on 24 January 2020. The WHO Country Office in Malaysia has been working closely with the Ministry of Health to solve this outbreak. It has come as a surprise to some of us and has changed the way we live and the things we did on a daily basis. How COVID-19 affects our life. The COVID-19 outbreak affects all segments of the population, includes social norms, health, and economy. To help counter the COVID-19 pandemic, the government of Malaysia declared the Movement Control Order (MCO) on 18 March 2020 in order to increase social distancing and slow down the transmission rate of the virus. In the beginning of MCO, social distancing with our peers and family members sometimes is quite difficult to adapt. This pandemic also resulting in less traffic, fuel and power consumption because people cannot go out without any important things and the business cannot go operate like usual. Thus, it will make pollution level seems to slow down. In terms of health, until now, Ministry of Health cannot find the vaccines to cure because the virus is so new and different. It needs its own special vaccine. Researchers are trying to develop a vaccine against COVID-19 and WHO is supporting their efforts. There will be challenges in diagnosis, quarantine and treatment of the person who suspected or confirmed cases. There is one time where the cases rise rapidly, which the number of the person who result positive COVID-19 increasing day by day until the frontliner in hospital face high burden of the functioning of the existing medical system. When there are so many cases reported daily, the doctors and the nurses who deal with the COVID-19 patient have problem with the limited costume. In terms of economy in Malaysia, this outbreak slowing down the manufacturing of essential goods because they are being directed to close the business. Some of service sector is not being able to provide the proper service. Many multinational businesses have reduced output of facilities and or suspended operations in affected regions. Some of the employees had to be laid off because the company cannot afford to pay their salary.
Next, we proceed to how tahsiniyat changed to daruriyat during COVID-19 pandemic. Nowadays, wearing face masks is a new norm for people all over the world. From elders to baby, all are wearing face masks. COVID-19 pandemic has increased people's awareness on the importance of protecting ourselves from viruses. COVID-19 could be transmitted to other people through respiratory droplets produced when infected people coughing or sneezing and inhaled by person nearby. The best way to prevent us from these viruses is to wear face masks. Wearing masks could block viruses from infected person to spread in the air and prevent healthy person to inhale the virus. Over 50 countries have made mask wearing in public mandatory. Other than that, COVID-19 also could be transmitted to other person by touching contaminated surfaces and then their eyes, mouth and nose. COVID-19 can live on surfaces for up to 3 days, up to 72 hours on plastic and steel, and up to 4 hours stay on stainless steel and copper. Lastly, it survives up to 24 hours on cardboard. Washing hands with soap and water for 20 seconds is highly effective in killing viruses and bacteria. Soap dissolves the fat membrane and the viruses falls apart and die. However, people have difficulties to get access with soap and water in public areas. The other alternative they can use is hand sanitizer, which proven effective in reducing the number of types of microbes. Because of this, people started to get to know more on hand sanitizer as compared to before COVID-19 pandemic. They now know how many % of alcohol needed in each hand sanitizer to effectively kill viruses. Other than that, they also know the right step on using hand sanitizer. COVID-19 pandemic actually forced people to be more hygiene in order to protect us from diseases. The increasing in the demand of face masks and hand sanitizer during COVID-19 pandemic illustrate how people change their view on the importance of these two items, which is no longer just an improvement or tahsiniyat, but it is now a necessity for everyone.
Here I'm with the one UAE student. I would like to interview getting to know this training case. The question is, how do we respond as Muslim society to a new lifestyle in the new normal in maintaining 5 fundamentals of Maqasid? It is true or false if you implement it in your daily life, and how is the connection between Islam in this country? What is your argumentation to perceive it? Based on my understanding toward this new normal, by declaring the end of the difficult period in the COVID-19 pandemic, humans enter a new stage of recovery known as the new normal. We all know the drawbacks given by the existence of this pandemic and its impact on life and all activities, either it is human relation with God or human relation to another creatures. I think it has made people aware in several important aspects of life. The concept of new normal itself has been taught by our procedures, including the Prophet Mohamed to protect the 5 fundamental Maqasid in life, so that religion, life, dignity, intellect, property can be maintained. The procedure in a new normal life, where all activities must be carried as before with a predetermined protocol, we must really apply it to the life of Muslims. For instance, religious activities that must continue, such as prayer and recitation with certain provisions, so that do not break the chains of Islam that has been maintained so far. We are required to prepare the body's immunity by eating healthy food, exercising diligently, and getting enough rest in an effort to protect ourselves and others. In addition, we must equip ourselves with professional protective equipment such as wearing masks, jackets, gloves, and keep distance from the crowd or social distancing. And the last is to maintain personal hygiene and also a public place, and avoiding various diseases and viruses. Therefore, we must obey the rules in the new normal to apply the 5 fundamental Maqasid principle at the time like this.
We are going to look at the question how importance of hygiene can contribute to a good economy. When we look nowadays, we must all know about the outbreak of COVID-19 that has been an issue in all of the countries, as it is a very serious disease that could bring death. COVID-19 is a disease that is very much related with hygiene and cleanliness. Its impact on the economy is very large, that the pandemic has brought many countries' economy to decline greatly. Now, we are going to look further how hygiene can contribute to a good economy. There are many things that can enhance a country's economy, and one of them are travel and tourism. Travel and tourism is part of important stimulus that will help in economic growth and development of a country. Safety and hygiene are one of the things that people will look ahead before traveling to certain places. So, it is really important for a country to keep the environment clean and hygienic. For example, toilets, public transportations, tourist attraction places, and also restaurants. When the environment are kept clean and hygienic, tourists will be satisfied with it, and it will also attract other tourists from different countries to travel to that place. When there are more tourists that travel from different countries, it will eventually help increase the economy. Let's take into consideration of the example of the COVID-19 pandemic. Economy declined because the pandemic has made the country to restrict other tourists from coming into and going out of the country to avoid COVID-19 disease from spreading more by imposing entry ban and also border closures. From Malaysia, the coronavirus crisis has hit tourism in Malaysia hard, where there was a loss of 9 billion from the tourism industry when the first MCO movement control order was implemented. So this shows how hygiene plays an important role in growing a country's economy. Other than that, sanitation is also important for the development of a country. Why? Because poor sanitation can cause a variety of diseases such as acute respiratory infections, undernutrition, and other tropical diseases. Poor sanitation are commonly caused by poor hand washing practices and also poor management of menstrual hygiene. So, how sanitation can give impact on the economy? When we focus on keeping a good hygiene, it will help in reducing poor sanitation and communicable disease. This will eventually bring multiple economy benefits such as reduce in healthcare expenses in a country and increase in workplace productivity due to decrease in workday lost to illness. As a conclusion, hygiene is fundamental to both good health and social and also to the economic growth.
My name is Mohamed. I'm a student from Yuan.
Yes.
So recently, COVID-19 outbreak everywhere in the world. So we want to ask you some questions about this.
Yeah, okay. What question?
So first, what protects us from COVID-19?
So COVID-19 has been maybe almost 7 months. So to protect ourselves, we have to wear masks to avoid crowd places like KLCC, outside the KLCC, to kind of that places. And then clean yourself, clean your head every time when you touch something outside, when you go outside. So that's basically protection for yourself, and it's good things.
The question is, what's the relevance of Maqasid al-Shari'ah in utilizing clean water and sanitation, which can protect us from COVID-19 outbreak?
So the Maqasid al-Shari'ah contains 3 things: daruriyat, hajiyat, and I forgot the third thing. So the relevance in cleaning of the water in COVID-19. So the water is from daruriyat, so it's under the daruriyat. So and under the daruriyat have 5 protections, and 5 protection is protection of nafs, protection of al-din, protection of al-aql, protection of al-nasl, protection of al-wealth. So the related one is protection of self, or al-nafs. So if you drink the COVID-19's water or the infected water, you'll be infected. So you have to protect yourself by clean the water. How to clean the water? You can bring any water, not any water, not dirty water from the rain. So you can bring the water from your toilet and heat it. So you can. So that while heating can kill the viruses in the water. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Sebagaimana yang telah diputuskan oleh Muzakarah Fatwa Kebangsaan dan juga oleh kebanyakan negeri serta arahan daripada pihak kerajaan, makanya solat Jumaat ditiadakan.
praise and thanks to Allah for the countless blessing. Okay, the reality in Malaysia is now, the number of cases and deaths is still increasing, and the cluster case is yet to end. Based on Sahih Muslim, the Messenger of Allah said that if the person eat garlic, onion, he must not approach the mosque and even pray along with us. And this case already fall under tahsiniyah because the smell might disturb the others. But our current pandemic situation, it affects people's health and life, and it's already fall under daruriyat instead of hajiyat or tahsiniyat. So the best decision is to pray at your own house. Okay, the majority of scholars except Maliki never mentioned that Friday prayer should be performed at mosque. Yes, according to Imam Abu Hanifah, the minimum number for congregation prayer is 4 people, including the imam. But Mazhab Hanafi also stated that the person must obtain the permission from the ruler, which is the government, as a valid condition to Friday prayer. So what we can conclude here is that performing Friday prayer at one's own house with his own family member is impermissible and invalid because they does not fulfill the valid condition that have been set by the scholars, which is Mazhab Hanafi. And the best decision for this question is that the Friday prayer should be replaced with Zuhur prayer that has been agreed by the Fatwa community in Malaysia.
COVID-19 pandemic has taken the world in its tight grip. For now, there is no vaccine or medicines has proved effective against the virus. Experts are starting to worry that this virus may remain endemic and going to be with humanity for long. The concept of Maqasid Shari'ah provides a clear guidance and framework in solving the issues faced by people. The implementation of Islam is a guide throughout the ages. The elements emphasized in Maqasid Shari'ah can be used as reference in preventing the virus. Classifications of Maqasid Shari'ah are divided into 3 categories according to the levels of necessity, which are daruriyat, hajiyat, and tahsiniyat. The objective of Islamic rulings is mainly to protect the 5 elements of the necessities from any harm. During the pandemic, the order to not gather in a large number which command people to not perform Friday prayers and congregational prayers is proof of implementing the principal protection of religion. Muslims are commanded to pray at home and be tolerant. In fact, those who do not follow the order are not following the religious order because of his stubbornness. Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala mentioned in Surah Al-Baqarah verse 175, they are the ones who bought error in exchange for true guidance and chastisement in exchange for forgiveness. How passionate they are in enduring the fire. This verse can also be related with the second principle, which is protection of life. Protection of life can also include work from home, social distancing, obey health protocol like wearing masks, washing hands and self-isolation. Protection of intellect is also one of the principles. To achieve this during the pandemic, educational activities such as school or university learning can be done through a study from home. In addition, protection of lineage is one of the most important principles that should be looked into during the outbreak. Due to the new viral infection COVID-19, healthcare systems are not able to cater other diseases that are spreading such as dengue, malaria and tuberculosis. The protection of lineage should include the availability of health facilities and services for everyone, including hospitals, ventilators, masks, hand sanitizers, vaccines and so on. Protection of property, on the other hand, can include social assistance and financial subsidies.
In the context of Maqasid Shari'ah, protecting everyone affected by COVID-19 must take precedence over other considerations. A fiqh rule stated that preventing damage or danger comes first rather than seeking benefits of goodness. Therefore, the economic stimulus should focus on meeting the basic needs of the community. The government can implement a budget efficiency policy from all ministries and institutions, which can be obtained through community voluntarily, such as zakat and donation. The implementation of 5 basic rights as prescribed by Maqasid Shari'ah eventually will help us to fight with the virus.